Hello, welcome to another Snowbirds Tech Tips. In this tech tip, we're going to talk about scratch orgs. We're going to create a scratch org and kind of start going through how to use them. Scratch orgs are great because they allow you to spin up a fresh org without really anything in it. It's different than a sandbox. So the sandbox copies your production org, but a scratch org doesn't have anything in it. It's just like starting up a new developer org without all the sample stuff in it. You can use a definition file like you see behind me here to specify things in your scratch org. In this case, I've got some features set up to turn on community service called chatbot, some settings to enable. You can also do things like if you have custom fields, you can specify default values for those. There's a lot you can do with this definition file to get started. If you look at the Salesforce Help Center and Scratch Orgs, there's a lot of really good information here on creating them and setting them up. And I highly recommend take a look at this and go through it. As an admin, Scratch Orgs might seem like a little bit of a stretch and you're not sure exactly what to do with them. Honestly, that's where I am a lot of the time because I'm more of an admin architect than a developer. Developers love Scratch Orgs, and I'm starting to use them and starting to see their value. So let's take a look at setting one up. So I'm in VS Code. I'm going to go to my command palette, and you'll see I've got a create default scratch org option here. And when I go to this, it wants a dev hub. I need to authorize a dev hub. I don't have a dev hub set up yet, so I'm going to go to my Salesforce org, and I'm going to turn on my dev hub. And you'll see here I've got enable the dev hub. There's a lot of options in here. So we're going to get this started. So now I'm turned on as a dev hub. I want to turn on source tracking. If you're doing this in a production org, you need to do this in your production org, and your sandboxes need dev tracking turned on. I definitely want second gen packages. If you're using multiple languages, you'll want to turn this one on. I like to just turn things on in my orgs that I'm playing with, so I'm just going to turn everything on. We'll play with Einstein in a later video as well. And the sandbox expiration email opt-out, I'm going to leave that off. I want those emails. So now I have a dev hub set up, so I'm going to come back here and I'm going to authorize a dev hub. I want you to know the name of my give it an alias. Now it wants me to log in, so we're going to get logged in here. Authorization successful. There we go. Now I have a dev hub. So now let's go back to creating a scratch org. I've already got this definition file here, so I'm going to use that. Enter an org alias. I'm just going to go with SI scratch for the time being. Enter the number of days until the scratch org expires. Now this is one thing about scratch orgs. They do have a short lifespan. The maximum they live is for 30 days. I'm going to turn it on for 30 days in this particular instance, but you can do it for 1 to 30 days, however long you want. Just remember, once a scratch org expires, it's deleted and everything in it is gone. So make sure you're backing up your work. Pull it down through VS Code or something, or a repo would be even better. And we'll talk about setting up a repo in another video as well. So now this is going to run through and create our scratch org. Okay, create default scratch org, done, and you'll see right here I'm now in my scratch org here. So I'm going to go to my command palette and open default org, and that will pop me into my scratch org. Now you notice I never set up a username or a password for my scratch org. It's all authorized directly through VS Code. Once you're in here, you can go ahead and go to your users and set up a user, a password, whatever you would like to do as far as that goes. You don't need to, because you'll see here it creates you a user as a system admin. That's you, that's your default user. And you're fully authorized through VS Code to get into it, so you don't have to set anything else up as far as users go. Let's just take a quick look, because this is kind of a default stand-up Scratch org. And so you'll see it looks kind of like a standard developer org to start with here. I've got 2 licenses, I've got a few community licenses, I've got customer licenses. You'll see I've got quite a few licenses for different things. Now some additional things that the Scratch org is giving me. If I look down here in this list, you'll notice I've got licenses for some additional functionality that developer orgs don't have, like field service. So now I can actually do some testing and developing against field service outside of a production org with those licenses. So this could be very helpful. There's also CPQ. So you get some additional functionality with the Scratch org to work with that may be helpful. And there you go. Now you've got a Scratch org up. It's good for 30 days. Start building out what you need to with it. Make sure that you're pulling down anything that you build, because remember, when it expires, it is going to delete and be gone. Alright, so set up some Scratch orgs, play with them, work with them from there. In future videos, we're going to talk about connecting these to a DevOps center and working with your repo. Thank you very much.